When I say every day, y'all say love. Every day. Love. Every day. Love.
Y'all not watching WomanHood? You not joining us? Join the party, baby. You're missing out.
Sister, tell me what you need and I got you. Teach me, I teach you. Show me what you know and then I show you. Get your queen on. Yeah, I got a shoulder you can lean on. Assignment, understood. Now tell me what's the T on womanhood.
So boom, it's your girl KK. I'm back with another episode of WomanHood presented by Everyday Love. I brought my girls back. We got Miss Kiwi and Laurencia, and this time we're discussing how to become a godly woman.
All right, now. Last episode was a little lit. We had to bring the tablets out for some notes, honey. Okay, dropping gems. You was dropping gems, girl. Okay,
you 2, you 3.
Don't be nice like that, because it was really you. You really did set the tone.
You did, honey. So, you did. You blessed my soul.
Okay, ladies, let's jump right into it. We got our tablets. I got my notes.
Okay.
Right. My first question would be, how did you discover God, or how was God introduced to you? Let me say that, because sometimes we don't discover him, he kind of found us. So first tell me, which one was it? Did you discover him, or was he introduced to you? And then tell me, how did that come about?
For me personally, I grew up in church. I grew up Pentecostal. So
that's different.
Yes, honey. Yes, child. I grew up with the skirts, child, down to the ankles.
My God.
You know, no earrings. None of that, okay? So I grew up Pentecostal. Like I said, last episode, I'm the youngest of 7, and we all grew up in the church. My mother was the choir director, so she would lead the choir while we were strapped up on the little harness thing, whatever they call it. So I've always grew up in church. So I knew God from what my family taught me, but then of course me becoming a woman, knowing myself more, I had to learn it for myself.
Yeah.
And my main thing with me, I guess, like, I think it was like after, during college, I had to identify God for myself. Yeah. I knew, of course, I've been in church, raised in church, singing, all that. I knew I felt the spirit of God, but I had to identify him for me, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, before I get to you, Kiwi, how though?
How? Mm-hmm. Just being in church, being faithful and consistent in church.
How did that work out in college? I'm going.
Well, in college,
I promise I'm gonna come back. But she's speaking so much.
Well, for me, like I said, I grew up in church, so I never. One thing, like I know, last episode you talking about having going way back. I never lost my raising. I think that's the part. I feel like God always had me on a leash. That you're not gonna experience that. You're not gonna go this way. And even if I would have tried to go this way, he gonna. I never got to experience the world craziness, and I'm grateful for that. You know, because I know my raising. But in college, it was tough. It was tough in college because you had so many peer pressure. But one thing about me, you can't peer pressure me to do nothing. Yeah. I'm telling you. I remember one time, trying to go to a party, hallelujah. And every night we would get on the prayer line, and I was ready. I literally got dressed, everything to go out to UAB to turn up. Mm-hmm. And my sister said, "Hey, don't forget the prayer line." I said, "Yeah, I gotta go." I went back in that room and got on that prayer line. But it was not hard in college because I knew my raising. I knew what was instilled in me as a child. You go too far, it's hard to come back. It's hard to know yourself again. It's hard to and even though God's gonna forgive you, I just didn't want to be punished. Yeah. I didn't want to go through much, so I always kind of just stayed away and stayed in God. I turned up and slipped up and a few times, but I always knew my raising. So yeah.
Okay, Kiwi, what about you?
Kiwi,
I'm a feral cat. You know, the wild cats you can't tame.
Yeah.
It's hard to tame. But so I would say that when I say I was brought up in the church, it means something different compared to you. Like, my mom wasn't a director or anything of that nature, but when things started to happen to me as a kid, I'm gonna just share. Like, it ain't even about me. So when I was a young girl, I did get molested by my mother's fiance. And so when that happened, one of the first things my mom did was like open the Bible to Psalms 91, Psalms 23. And that was a very important part of my life. And even from that point, being in church, being prophesied over, like, you're gonna be a prophet. This is your calling. This is who she is. Like, God showed me this. I can still remember it this day. This woman preaching and prophesying it over me from her church, and she was a female pastor of her church. But so that happened, and from that point, I had a pretty consistent relationship with God throughout my life. I had a pretty consistent relationship, and I would say my college years is when I really is when I had a how do I describe this? Where I became spiritually still because I wasn't sure. Because what I learned about in school, I majored in sociology, so I took sociology of religion, and in that course, oh my goodness, like that's what it is. My idea of religion and everything got shattered. It got shattered. It was like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if God was real anymore. I was just like, so God, are you even real? Because these people use the Bible to manipulate us. So what's going on? Like, so what does this mean for me?
Right.
And so that was the first time in my life where I did not know what to do in my spirit. Like, I didn't know what to do. I was literally spiritually still.
Yeah.
And I was one of those that a lot of my friends in college, when I fasted, that was like their first time. Them telling me this is my first time fasting, fasting, even though like y'all, I was a little out there, I definitely was fornicating and doing it was not fun. There ain't nothing fun about it. Getting them ties, it ain't nothing fun about it. No, ma'am, it's not fun. Don't do it. They say do it and go out there and be don't do it because it's just breeding you for a world of trouble when you come out into the real world. That's how you're supposed to live. No. But so that happened to me, and from that point I turned to other things. Like I started looking into. I labeled myself as a Christian, and so from that point, when it got shattered, I turned to like, okay, let's see what the Muslims about. Let's see what's going on over here. And it's like, oh well, if you don't do this, God is taking up points. It won't count to them. I'm like, that don't sound like they ain't resonate with me. I don't know. Oh, then it's to witchcraft, and then to hoodoo, and to voodoo, and to all of these other different parts of different types of spiritual workings that I was interested in and that I begin to even practice, and finding out. I'll call it the journey. I was seeking truth. That's what it was. I was on my path to seeking truth for myself. And even now, fast forward to now, like I really got snatched up out of those ways that I were doing that were not in alignment with Yah when I started to acknowledge Him again last year. So this is not like something old. This is more like recent for me. So I wasn't acknowledging God that whole time, but I was acknowledging like angels and all of that, but I was not directly acknowledging God because I was just unsure in my heart and my spirit, right? But it's funny because everything, even when I was learning all of these different things, taking me back to the Bible, everything always took me back. I was never in a place to say that there wasn't a God, or I just was like, just wait, just waiting on my moment. But last year, like I got snatched up out of everything. It was just like God, Yahweh, calling back on to my Father. Like, no, it's. I started back acknowledging my Father last year, and it's been cool. And I was going to a church. I'm no longer gonna be doing. I ain't gonna say doing those kind of things, but I'm good. I know who my Father is, and I knew who my Father was, and I had that time where I was on my journey. Like you said, I was in church because those things were chosen for me.
Right.
And during that journey, I was able to
learn for yourself.
So, and the thing is that I wasn't afraid to learn these other things, to find out who my Father was, and to find the truth of where God is. Period. So,
that's amazing to hear. I'm glad to see. Well, I don't know the other pieces of you, but I was about to say, I'm glad to see that you're back.
Yeah.
But,
I have a question, guys. Was it for you to, like, go through those different journeys? Was it, or were you being rebellious, you think?
Oh, I'm naturally rebellious.
Oh, okay. So that's what I was wondering, like, was it a rebellious inner, like, let me find something, what is going on?
And, that's a part of why I even looked into witchcraft initially too, was because I'm already naturally rebellious. That's why I never fit in. That's why these things, like, I was defiant naturally in me, because come on, you got a bad attitude, I'm pretty, people would think that they could do this. It's like I was already, I was called in grade school, all they called me was weird, and then when I get to university they start calling me eccentric. They put labels on you that you didn't know. I've always been set apart my entire life, and when I got into these things, I was able to, it's all divine. Like when I say I wasn't acknowledging God, and I used to, when I came to that realization that God was still with me, I would feel so bad and down on myself about it. But it was like, as I'm relearning things and God is revealing more truth to me, it's like it was the same truths that were revealed to me during these different paths of my journey, that everything wasn't me out here being demonic.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a blessing, but I was definitely, I'm still rebellious. It's just that now everything is in Yah, so I rebelled against all else.
Right.
So it's just like at first, when when I was my God, I was rebelling against all else, which that also includes Yah, because I was my number one.
I was raised in the church, but I did have to rediscover him for myself. Like you said, I had to kind of learn him all over again, because he didn't have to get to learn me all over again. He knew who I was, he knew what I came with, and that's what it was. But I sung in the choir. First of all, I'm from Mississippi, a very small town in Mississippi, so I come from a very small Baptist church at that. So when it was time for the Easter speeches, it's me and all my cousins. It's all of us. We all got a speech. Yes, we come from the same family, but we all finna get up here. That was me. We moved to Memphis. I'm in the choir, the children's choir. My mama made sure that I had a piece of him in me. But I will say that not by the time I got to college, but while I was in college, my senior year, I can honestly say I was like, I'm gonna do it my way. I want to have fun. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Let's go. And that kind of mindset really did a whole 360 on my whole life.
For real.
Starting from when I first moved out here, I think I was maybe like 10. I maybe just turned 11. I was in middle school. So from middle school all the way up until college, I had been smart. I got good grades. I played sports. So, I'm in there. My senior year of college, love ruined me. And I wouldn't say love, but my idea of love ruined me. And because I wanted so many different things from the wrong people, that shattered everything I had ever worked hard for. Scholarships, housing in college. You know how people be like, I got a refund. I had refunds. You know how they tell you need, 6, 7 streams of income? I was in college, no car, but I had 4 streams of income. All of that was gone by the time I had graduated. My peace of mind was gone by the time I had graduated, because I was so busy seeking other things or trying to find myself in other things that I stopped going to church. And we had a church literally this is where I'm staying on campus. Here's
right
the
there.
church.
Yeah.
Actually, it was 2. Wasn't it one on campus?
Yeah.
That one and Willard. Decided not to go to neither one of them because I was too into myself. And that's why the last episode, when I said it takes you a long time to get back if you go too far, it literally took me 3 to 4 years to get back everything I had lost. But the thing about it is, you have to have some kind of foundation in your faith, and it has to be strong, because if not, all of that trying to get it back, ain't no getting it back.
Yeah.
If you wait long enough, if you wait patiently, and you serve the God that you say you serve, you understand that he's the on-time God. So it doesn't matter how hard it get. It doesn't matter what it look like in the midst of. It's going to come. And when it's your time to shine, it's right on time. And that's what I want people to understand. And it took me 3 to 4 years to learn it, because I gave up so many times along that journey. And I know God was probably laughing at me, because he was like, girl, you probably could have had that like a year and a half ago. But we going to ride it out, because you still want to do it your way. I'm going to let you ride. And that's how it was to me. But me rediscovering him is probably one of the best, well, ain't no probably, it is the best thing that could have happened to me, because there would be no KK's Corner. That, as a matter of fact, it's not a show, my Instagram page strictly came from me losing myself and refining myself through him. I made all my videos because at the time I was depressed. I needed somebody to talk to. And God was like, oh yeah? I'm about to use you. Let me show you. So in me thinking that, I'm just talking my noise, God like, nah, I'm finna use you. I'm about to use you to inspire other people. But that's not how I looked at it at first. And still to today, like, people will come up to me during homecoming. People was like, yo, KK. I'm like,
Child, at homecoming, I would feel like a celebrity. You watch me?
Excuse me.
For real, and the one that shocked me the most came from a dude, and I'm with my friends, and he's all like, "Hey, yo," I'm like, "Oh, Kayla, he talking to you?" He like, "No, KK, you." I'm like, "Hey." He's like, "I know you don't know me. I follow you though, bro. Can I get an elbow?" I'm like, "Yeah." Because when you do things for him and not for yourself, it do kind of throw you for a loop. You be like, "Okay, I ain't know I had that in me. All right, Jim. Yeah. Cut him down." That's how I felt, and that's still how I feel still to this day. Mm-hmm. So that's my tad bit, which I just got through talking about. My next question would be, have you ever lost your way along the journey? And if you have, how did you get back? What brought you back? Well, Kiwi kind of already touched on hers, but Lorenzi.
I'm trying to. I can just being honest. I'm not even trying to sugarcoat. Like I said, I've always been in the midst of God. Like there's some time, like me personally, like I said, I'm the youngest of 7, but there were some times where I had to like literally fight my siblings. Like I used to come, girl, Lord, Jesus. I used to come to campus with scratches on my face and nails. I mean, literally fighting my siblings, but I just always would talk to God. I never doubted God. I would say like, why this family is, why is I'm in this but it's something, and I just know that I gotta keep going through life because it's something that He's doing for me that I may not know right now, but I feel like we have to go through these different struggles or whatever, or these toss and turns, because at the end of the day, this is gonna be a part of your story.
Right.
You think right now you in the midst of turmoil, distress, but just know that in the end of the day, that's going to be a testimony for you. Yeah. Or you can help somebody else. You helping somebody right now sharing your story. But I've always had God. Like, even though I had family, I had friends, number one, that's Him. Like, I literally, anything I do, I'm going to pray over it. I may feel something in my stomach like, oh, that ain't right. That ain't right. But one thing I am working on, too, is hearing God more. Yeah. You know, and it's like, I feel like I hear Him sometimes, you know. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I feel like I don't, you know. But with straying away, it's like only thing I can say for sure, like, child, you know, I turned up, you know. Yeah. And there are some times where I would, you know, get in them ties and soul ties you talk about, and I would get up and I'd be like, I gotta go home. Yeah. You know, I gotta get up out of here. So I always had, like I said, I always had my raising. I always had that to look up to. Like I said, I'm the youngest, so it was hard to do something. My siblings on my neck, girl, texting a boy, what you doing? You know. Yeah. But like in college, I was more I kind of got free. Yeah. But I had, like I said, I had to find my own identity with God. I had to find my own. I didn't want to be the youngest. That's the baby girl. That's the one that sang. That's the one that y'all sing at church house, child. That's the one that sang. That's what. But in college, I still went to church. Yeah. Every Sunday, I went to church. I would get out of church and go to Papacitos and work. I went to church. That was a part of me. I can't change that. Yeah. You know. And then when I dealt with church hurt, you know, church hurt real. You deal with church hurt, all the drama in the church house or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I strayed away a little bit when it was like the child, I can't tell my sister's business on the camera. But I strayed away, I ain't gonna lie. I did, as far as like not going to church. Yeah. But I always went to church on my own. Right. I always worshiped in my house. I always worshiped in my car. But I had to find them for myself. Like, this is my relationship with God. He don't see me as the youngest. He see me as Laurencia. Right. Mm-hmm. So everybody else identify you as a certain way, but you gotta learn for God for yourself. And I did, and I know him, child. It's my dog. Okay, hey. We gonna talk, and I go through whatever. Today was a rough day for me to get here. Yeah. Okay, but I made my friends like, you going through some stuff. Girl, I don't care what I'm going through. Let's go. We gonna get there. Cause I know at the end of the day, I'm gonna say on October 9th, child, 2021. This day. Come on, let's talk about it. I like that. Let's talk about it.
Okay. How did you keep your faith? And I want to go first on it. First of all, let me rewind. When we talk about finding our way back, or that moment where you kind of had to say, okay, God, I surrender. My story for that piece would be, I'll never forget, it was National Margarita Day. Okay. It was National Margarita Day. My friend came over, because at the time I didn't have a car. She's like, okay, girl, we need to go. I'm like, okay, cool. Mind you, I'm in the midst of a whole depression. So drinking sounds really good. Side note, you know, I wouldn't say I was an alcoholic. I wouldn't say that. That's a reach. I just liked drinking a little bit more than others at the time. Okay. So at the time I had a real bad drinking problem, and that was my coping mechanism. Like, prayer had went out the window because I felt like at the time, like, he don't hear me. Like, I've been crying forever and a day and you ain't took me nowhere. That's how I felt. So alcohol was my thing. And so on this particular day, me and my friend, we're drinking before we even leave my house. We go to the address. I had a couple of drinks. We go somewhere else. I didn't get none there. But this last place I end up going to, keep in mind before I leave my house, I done drunk like 4 or 5 different drinks. They're not the same. Go to the address, have another 4 or 5 drinks. Then go to this last spot. Mind you, I'm already drunk. So I get there and I'm like, oh, what are y'all drinking? They like, oh, we drinking some kind of lemonade with some vodka in it. Give me that. We need a picture of it. Can we get a picture of it? They're like, yeah, we can get a picture of that. The last thing I remember of that night is, and this is the old me. This is the old me. The last thing I remember from that night is me standing up on the couch. My face is towards the wall. My back is towards the crowd, and I am going to town, y'all. I am shaking it up on these people's couch. That's the last thing I remember. And do you know, by the time I woke up the next morning, I'm patting my bed for my phone. I don't know where my phone is. So I'm like, oh, it must have fell behind my bed. It's not behind my bed. I'm like, okay, maybe it's in my purse. Look around, no purse. Mama, have you seen my purse? She said, I'm glad you asked me that because you didn't come home with no purse. I said, what you mean I ain't come home with no purse? She said, yeah, you ain't come home with no shoes either. I said, what you mean I ain't come home with no shoes? She said, yeah, so-and-so and so-and-so had to call me. They came banging at the door. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. They had to come get me out of bed to help carry you in the house. Mind you, my mom says when she comes to the car, I'm pretty much, you know how when you're throwing up, but it's not throw up, it's kind of like foam. At that point, you're dehydrated. So she said that's what was going on. I'm in the middle of a depression. They are trying to carry my big self to the house. That's a long walk from that car to that house. They couldn't even get me in the house. But while they're carrying me there, they're pretty much telling me they said I was saying, like, oh, like nobody cares about me. I had just lost my grandfather, so I'm like, oh, you know, he's gone. I'm saying 50 million things. I done told my mama I beat her up. Yeah, I would never tell her that in real life though. But they said I said it then. But they couldn't get me up, so I literally ended up sleeping outside my house until I woke up the next morning. And they said it was like nothing had happened. I didn't remember nothing. I just knocked on the door and I'm like, I'm home. Went inside the house, laid in the bed, and the next morning came is when I was reaching for the phone. But I had to say that because I had blacked out that night and I couldn't remember nothing. But that was the night I realized, like, you gotta make some changes because anything could have happened to you. That was a life-changing experience for me, and that's really when I was like, nah, it gotta be something better and it gotta be something bigger. Not even just for me, but for life in general. Like, how are you walking around like this? And that was the day I can honestly say that God touched me on my shoulder. In the midst of me going through what I was going through, he had to touch me on my shoulder because I wouldn't be here today. I would have still been drinking my Amen. That's real talk though. But that changed my life. It really did. So I'm wondering if y'all, not something similar, but do you have a story that literally was like, yeah, God had to touch me on my shoulder? You're gonna say no, I think.
Child, stop playing.
Did he have to touch you on your shoulder? And if so, how did he do it? Because I feel like when he touched me on my shoulder, it wasn't like no. You know how sometimes you keep doing the wrong thing and God like, okay, I tried to forewarn you the first 2-3 times. Now I got to put it in your face. That was a put it in my face moment because I ain't never blacked out like that before. But I feel like he was real gentle with it because I could have ended up in the hospital. You know, anything could have happened to me, but I made it home.
I'm really trying to, y'all, my memory is good, but there's certain things that you pray about and you forgive and you forget and you let it go. I'm that person. I'm gonna say it with a particular person. I'm gonna say that, you know. So I remember I was dating this guy, child of God, okay? I was in love, honey. And I used to I never seen myself, you know, you ever see yourself marrying somebody, child. Still dating them, going through the motions or whatever. And there was one particular time I really wanted to remove myself from it. It was something to let go. But I just couldn't. I couldn't let go. I couldn't let go, honey. And I think I told you this before. And it was like, I had child got on Facebook, no, Instagram, and somebody had DM'd me all his text messages that he was texting this woman. And I still wouldn't let go. Like, I still wouldn't let go. Like, I don't know what it was about the relationship. But God had to literally tell me, like, there's something better.
Yeah.
I didn't put you in this world to experience all of this.
Right.
And I feel like God literally put all of my siblings through so much, and I've seen so much more than I've experienced.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part of me. But I remember one time I was in a bed, and we had broke up, and me and the guy had broke up, and I was in bed just crying, like, God, please just help me, please. And I remember I fell asleep. I woke up out my sleep screaming. Like, God, like, it was just like a release me from this person, because I don't understand how you can get so bounded to somebody. And I wasn't like, I didn't walk around like I was the stuff. I didn't, but I was just so bounded to this person. And I literally was praying, like, God, get him away.
Yeah.
Get him away. I needed me back. And after that, I graduated. God blessed me with an apartment. God blessed me with a new job. I moved to a different city. Like, it was just blessings. And people need to know you missed out your blessing because you holding on to some crap.
Yeah.
You holding on to that for too long. God trying to bless you with the next, but you holding on to this one.
Yeah.
Let it go and watch it grow. Let it go and watch it grow. And I had to learn that. And I'm grateful for the experience. I would never tarnish his name. I would never, because he taught me something. He taught me a lot, but I know that greater was gonna come, and I've been experiencing greater. I'm not married yet, child, but I leveled up, honey, in the love life.
Turn up.
Oh, God.
Child, I'm gonna crack a joke. I'm sorry.
I know.
So for me, I would say the pivotal moment was when I used to watch tarot readings, and there was this lady, Kendra Justine, Pretty Boss TV, and I used to watch her tarot readings. And so all this rap, and you'll see this on Instagram too, twin flame this, twin flame no, but anywho, I'm watching it, it's all about this twin flame romance, whatever, and I've just yearned that, like, that had been a great, and it still is a desire for me, but it's just not one that I'm seeking in my own writ. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna let you bring that. I know that king gonna come after me.
Right.
But I was watching it, and ooh, Lord, she comes on there and she's like, y'all, and she's like, her energy is just really different, and she's just like, this is not right. Like, this is not right. Like, there are other things going on spiritually, and these cards, they're not coming out right. It's still talking about twin flames. This is not what's going on in the spiritual realm. Like, this is not it, right? And when she said that, I was like, what's going on? What she mean? This ain't right. Okay, hold on. And so she just starts to speak about, like, just everything. Like, y'all, these demons will use these cards to get you to trust them through these cards. These pendulums, these crystals, like, all of this stuff. And I'm just like, because it was already settling in my spirit. It was already inkling up, right? And when she did that, I was like, she was like, everything that's in your house, throw it in the trash. She probably don't even know that she talking to me, but I'm like, that's the moon, y'all. I can see the moon through these cracks. Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
I'm gonna turn around. Okay.
Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. Okay. And she's like, everything that's in your house, get rid of it. Like, get rid of it. I'm like, I started just like throwing everything away. I was at a point to where I even had like an altar in my house, and like this Buddha statue, water fountain thing, and me trying to speak to my grandmother and all of this stuff, and feeding the altar and lighting the incense. And it was just like, oh, it was another kind of rage in me that was like, and it was just a birthing of a becoming of a new person. Me realizing that, like, I picked up my Bible. That was the first time I had picked up my Bible. The crazy part is, when I was going through all of this, y'all, because I used to go through so many demonic attacks as a child. I'm talking about like night terrors every single night of my life. Every night I go to bed, I'm having a night terror. Wake up fighting demons in my sleep and scratching myself in my sleep and waking up and the scratches on my face. Like, no, literally. Right? And it was a habit for me to keep my Bibles open on Psalms 91. It don't matter what I went through. I had never closed the Bible. It don't matter what type of witchcraft I was doing. I had never closed my Bible. My Bible was always open. So it was like, even when I would be like, yeah, God wasn't, it was like, no, God had his hand on me this whole time. Like, even how you saying with the leash. No, God kept me on the leash the whole time. And I didn't know. But, yeah, it was a very pivotal thing. And I remember opening my Bible up, and the first scripture was in Exodus. Don't have any other gods before. How I open up the Bibles to that scripture. Don't have any other gods. Not yourself. Don't worship any. And it was like, it wasn't even about the other gods for me. It was me. I made myself my God. I put my desires over this man. I put all of that before my Father. Right? So that, me smashing that statue, y'all was like, go smash it and don't look back. Yeah, I went and smashed that thing. It was like money I spent on these things. I just like got rid of everything, and I was like, yeah, it's time to turn up because I'm back. And I thought I was gone, but I'm like, I got a taste of it, and I put myself in a position to be deceived over and over again. And it was like, nah, y'all was like, get over here. Come, I'm tired of it. You're doing that. That's enough. Yeah, so the devil mad with his ugly self. With his ugly self, but don't nobody care.
But you know what? I want to talk about, you know the phrase, favor ain't fair? Do you know how many times we sit in favor and don't even realize it? I think that a lot of us, patience is truly a virtue, and it's something that has to be learned. I don't know not now person that came out the room with patience. Even children get upset when the nuggets take too long. You see what I'm saying? So I want to talk about that because I think if we realized how much favor was over our life, we'd operate in a better capacity, especially on a mental and emotional level. I think that when we are facing adversity, it's easy to give up and it's easy to try to do things our way, but when you do things your way, you pretty much lose your way when you do things your way.
Ooh, that's good.
But that's true though, because you get impatient and you like, oh, he don't hear me. Oh, he ain't, this ain't what he want for me, but that's what you want for yourself. So now you done curated your own little plan on how to get there and you still ain't there. You weren't meant to be there. The favor that's over your life have you going in a totally different direction, and you can't see that because you created your own roadmap. Where are you going? Nowhere. So I want to ask you all if there was something that you could tell other women as far as like keeping their head on straight and just understanding the favor and the calling that they have over their life. What would you tell them?
For me personally, I would say, I think favor over my life, period, okay? I, like she said, was prophesied to as a child. Like, literally, I know. My mama always tell this story, child. She tell me, you came out my womb, and water shot out, blood shot out, and the doctors ran out the room, and my auntie was throwing towels. My auntie caught me before I hit the floor. That's my birth story, okay? So I always was raised in the church, and I always was being prophesied to. So if I'm in line first and they call on me, I know that's favor. Anything I experience, I know it's favor. I remember one time I was in college, and the children was in the room smoking, and I don't smoke, and I was just there because I was with the girls, and I was there. The time I left, got in my car, started up that car, the girl called me and said, why the police just walked through the door and they all got tickets? What? What? All of them got tickets, about to get moved out the door. I don't even live on campus, but I could have been in that situation. That was favor. God would put you in position. God would move you in position. So I know favors on my life, and I would say to people, watch who you hang with, watch what you do, and if you like, you have to go back to your raising. If your raising was not the business for you, find a mentor. You know, find, like she said before, find God for yourself, but you gotta surround yourself with just, like she said, like-minded people, positive people. If you know you're going out in the wrong direction, child, stop yourself. and proceed, you know. But favor.
Ooh, that was good.
Child, I know I got favor in my life. I just
God will
be
move
still.
you
Sometimes you gotta be
into the
still.
position.
No,
Yeah.
but that's real though.
That God will move you into the position.
Because most times we'll feel like we're so unqualified for things, and God be like,
You overqualified.
exactly.
You overqualified. You don't know. You don't know.
And I think the problem is that we once again we get to looking at what other people got and what it looked like for them and stuff like that, and we like, okay, well, Kiki had A, B, C, and D, and now Kiki got a Benz, and I ain't.
Child,
got
you don't
no
know what she did
Benz.
Benz. You don't know who gave her that money.
Sugar daddy,
you don't know
sugar
exactly.
pop.
But
You don't know.
But even with that, you sitting there looking at her with a Benz, and God's like, well, I bless you with two, but you so busy looking at Kiki,
Exactly.
you missing.
Drive that Honda.
Right.
Because I love my Honda.
To the wheels
I had a Toyota Solara 99 and in reverse. And in college, I was pushing that car. I pushed that car. Okay, got them parking spots. Got me a 2019 Honda. I love my car. Okay, shoot. Don't watch people. Watch yourself. Get yourself in order. Prepare yourself. And then God gonna give you He gonna just start throwing blessings.
But you know what? Even with that though, you have to know what you want, because a lot of times we'll be like, okay, Jesus, I want $1 million. Okay, Jesus, I want all that. And that's fine to want different things, but if you're not truly invested in what it is that you say you want, God don't know. I mean, He knows what to give you, but He like, okay, do you
really know? Yeah.
What?
You say you want $1 million, but I want to give you $3 million. But you know you're gonna set up.
Yeah. Small faith though. Small faith. Small faith gonna get you small works, and but faith without works is dead. And that's true. That is a real thing. And a man that don't work don't eat either. That's another topic for a different day, because I got many different ways to work.
Favor.
But that's real though. So I think if we had if we aligned ourselves more with the Word of God, we'd be less likely to stray away. Now you are gonna have distractions and things will get thrown your way, but you'll know how to handle them just a little bit better than you did before. And I think that's why people get sidetracked a lot. We learn lessons we didn't learn lessons that we should have learned back then, so now it's just full circle all over again.
And the devil know your temptations too now.
Yeah.
Don't think he don't know.
Yeah.
You don't think you don't know. Child, he'll put that bottle right in front of you, put them crystals right in front of you, and you gotta know, like she just said, you experienced it and you move from it. When you see that devil again, child, go on about your business. Yeah. God got something better.
Yeah.
Bye. That's why I tell the haters.
Bye.
Oh my God.
What I would say, it comes down to one or two things. We're all a vessel. We're all vessels. Spiritual law, for any spirit to be operating in this realm, it has to have a vessel. So you're either a vessel for Holy Spirit or you're a vessel for something wicked. It's those one or two things. There's no gray area. You know, this world just gives you so many shades of gray. Like, oh well, you can still pray to God and put your intention into this crystal.
Yeah.
And it's like, well then why am I praying to God?
Yeah.
Right.
If I need to put my intention into this crystal. Because it's not even about intention, but it's those one or two things, knowing that it's either holy or it's wicked. And that when it comes to, like you mentioned with the position, that sometimes even God moving us into the position, it may not look like glory. Sometimes it'll look like destruction. Sometimes some things are gonna have to fall. Sometimes some things are gonna have to break. Right? So yo moving, like when we speak about scripture too, that it works out for the good of those who love God according to his calling, according to what he's called you to his will. And also the fact that when it comes to being a part of organizations and surrounding ourselves with like-minded people, just because someone labeled themselves as a Christian doesn't mean they know God. Come on. Just because I know the word doesn't mean that I know God, because the enemy knows the word. Right. Oh, he know God. He know God. But you know that all of these things that are superficial, that it's like, but where's the fruit? It's like, I hear what you're saying, but when I look into your life and I look at the things that you bring me, it's gossip. Right. The energy you bring me is negative. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's really about having that one-on-one relationship with God, no matter what church you're a part of, no matter when you get married, you're still a single individual. You still got to focus on your relationship with God. It's about changing your mind for the rest of your life and committing to your creator, that God. It doesn't matter how many times I fall, I know that you right there. I know that I'm coming back to you. Come on. The tactic of the enemy is that, like, okay, I know I'm a tempter, And if she fall, I'm gonna do my best to keep helping her dig herself into a pit to where she don't come up and come back to her father.
Yeah.
It's like, it don't matter, devil, how many times I fall, how many times I'm wrong, how many mistakes that I make. I know who my father is.
Yes.
And I'm not coming to you about that.
Exactly.
I'm going back every single time. And as long as you have that commitment, you good.
You good.
As long as you know
good.
that, like, look, I don't care what I do. I'll kill you right now. I'm still going to turn back to my father.
Oh my God.
Like,
Yeah.
it don't matter. It's that mindset
You gotta have,
shift.
yeah, I'm about to say mindset.
That commitment that, like, I'm changing my mind. I'm not going to be frivolous with my money. I'm changing my mind. I'm not fornicating.
Yeah.
I'm not doing these things that are going to defile me.
Yep.
When you make up your mind,
It's a done deal.
It's a wrap.
It's set.
Okay, ladies. I'm going to cut you off right there because y'all giving the people just a little bit too much tea. We might have to come back with a part 2 on this. You understand? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to wrap it up and we're going to end it right here. I'm KK. This is Laurencia and that is Kiwi. This was episode 2 of Womanhood presented to you by Everyday Love. Make sure that you subscribe, like, and share. Did I say comment? And comment. You can make sure you comment. And make sure you just keep up with us. And if I had to leave off on a note, I'm going to piggyback off Keely. I think that your mindset is everything. Your mindset will pretty much determine where you're going in your next level. So make sure that your mind is together. In order to have your mind together, your heart got to be right. So get that together and meet us back here on the next episode of Womanhood, baby.
Period. Come on, you gotta end that.